Hello and welcome to the practice video for the song Shadow Dance for the viola. First of all, consider the style of this piece. It is marked as allegretto, which means little allegro. So it's not that fast, but it definitely has a lot of motion to it, and it's actually a lot more light and playful. So think of your eighth notes, instead of being like how we learned them in sixth grade, where it's very on the string, like 1 and 2 and 3 and think a little bit more lightly, so they almost flow off the string a little more. So that's just that first rhythm on an open D. So if we try that, we could go from, here's on the string, okay, kind of a little heavier, and then here's a little more off the string, a little more playful. Okay, so I'm using a lighter bow weight and I'm using a smaller amount of bow to achieve that. So when I actually put that to the main theme that goes like this, it will sound like this. So we want to have almost a little space in between the first quarter notes. I'm looking in measure 4, the first quarter note and the eighth note. So okay, that way that helps us keep the rhythm very precise with the rest of the orchestra. Then we're going to walk our way up to fourth finger A. This is really important because we don't want to have a string crossing where it's going to be really awkward to get across. And we want to make sure that that note sounds like it's still part of the main theme instead of standing out like it might when we play open A. So kind of sounds very like it's standing out a little bit. But we could go like this. It's a little bit softer. Okay, so we want to make sure that's a full half note, but then a quick lift. So watch how this goes in the first phrase. Lift. That one's a quarter note. Okay, so be careful, measure 7, and these ideas will come back in the piece, so see where you can apply these same ideas. But measure 7 is going to be a lift on beat 2 this time instead of on beat 3. That's different. Okay, so one more time, this is how this phrase is supposed to sound. One time slowly. 2, lift. 1. Lift my bow. 2, lift, and then it repeats. Okay, and so again, notice how I'm keeping a little bit of space between the quarter notes. So this is what we don't want. I'm going to play it kind of the wrong way. So I'm using a lot of bow and I'm slowing down, and then it makes the song feel a lot heavier. Okay, so use those ideas going forward. Look over at measure 20. So actually the transition into measure 20. You are with the second violins, but what can be very challenging about this spot is that the cellos actually have a pickup note on the third beat of measure 19. All right, so let's start right on 19. So if we start on 19, we have cello 1, and so we have cellos on beat 3, and then beat 1 for us is a rest. Okay, so 19 is rest, rest. So at 20, if you noticed, I gave a little cue with my viola, and so you're going to want to look over at the violins and do that with them, okay? So practice that spot carefully, and be careful because the pattern of the rest changes. So if we start right on 19 again, rest, 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 rest. Now, right here, so this is pick up to 28. We want a big up bow and then start at the frog. So we're going to stay at the frog and we're going to think 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. Big bow here again, and then slow bow. 2, 3, 1, 2. And again, using fourth finger A. Okay, if you look at the video for fiddling around, I talked about how to do fourth finger A in a more relaxed manner, and that involves making sure your arm is set correctly on the viola and that your thumb is relaxed underneath the neck of the viola. Okay, your thumb's up here and your wrist is coming around this way, then it's going to be very difficult and it's going to feel really uncomfortable. Let's look at 28 one more time, since this is a really important melody. So first of all, pick up to 28, we're going to have big bow A, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. Now make sure those beat threes move really fast. If not, it's going to slow down like this. 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. And notice I just added an extra beat, and so now I'm going to be late, and we need to listen for that. Okay, the next spot is going to be looking over at 46. All right, so here's a recap of the melody that we heard at the very beginning. So again, the ideas we talked about at the beginning. All right, things get interesting though at measure 59. So look over at measure 59. Okay, so all of a sudden, we think we have the same melody as before, and measure 59 goes like this. Sounds very cut off. We have to be careful here because this is where things change. Okay, so 59. 1, 2, 3, 1 and 2, lift. 2, 3. So as long as we're counting our rests and watching the conductor and watching our other classmates, we're going to be very together. Okay, for this piece, I recommend practicing with your metronome set at 120 beats per minute and practice feeling that pulse in 3/4. So the 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Okay, listen carefully to intonation. It's a D major scale, and make sure you're doing 4th finger A. All right. Hopefully this has been helpful for you violas, and if you can think of other questions you may have about shadow dance, please let me know. Thank you.